What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on Draftkings at Darlington. Big time weekend we got here. Three NASCAR races: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be doing a live stream for all three races: Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. At Sunday around like 12:30 before the races. So be sure to tune in for those. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Always leave a like. All that stuff really helps me grow. Turn on that notification bell so you do know when I'm going live. If you turn on that notification bell, you don't even got to worry about when the time is on. You can it'll pop up on your phone and then boom, you're there. So be sure to turn that on. That really helps me out a lot. If you want to get more of my content, you can always subscribe to my Patreon. I'll put the link down below. It is $10 a month. You're going to get content for all three series. It's going to be spreadsheets with a bunch of data, a bunch of stats, including projections, what each driver needs to do to pay off their salary, past optimal laps, and what I expect optimal laps to look like this week. Then you're also going to, get some rankings, some other stuff that there's some other stuff in there that I can't really think of off the top of my head. But it's all three series combined, $10 a month. Be sure to go hit that link down below. So, yeah, let's get going. We're going to start off Ty Gibbs, most expensive driver. And you know what? This has kind of just been the theme all year. Ty Gibbs is still too cheap. He's still too cheap. I don't understand why he's 11,100. He should be like 11,800. Starting 29th, he only needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. You don't even need to play him as a dominator here. And Ty Gibbs has ran 3 races in the Xfinity Series. He hasn't finished worse than 4th. Best average finish in the last 5 races. Obviously, it's only 3, but still the best average finish. 8th best average position. Led 29 laps. He can get out front and lead laps. He's 800 to 1, or he's plus 800 to win this race. I'm definitely throwing $5-10 on Ty Gibbs this week. That's just a given. Darlington's a little bit of a tougher track. It's not the track we've seen him at. We've seen him at 3 races. We saw him at the road course. We saw him at Phoenix, and we saw him at Martinsville. So Darlington is nothing like any of those. So I don't really have any data from this series to go off of other than what he's done just overall. So Ty Gibbs, he should get top 8 as long as he doesn't wreck. He can win this race, and nobody's going to be surprised at this point. So, yeah, really interested in Ty Gibbs, someone I want to get a lot of exposure to. Just too cheap. I'm going to definitely get some. Justin Allgaier, he needs a top 3 to pay off this salary, starting 16th and $10,700. 7th best average finish at Darlington, intermediate, and steep tracks. But when you look at average position, 2nd at Darlington, 4th at intermediates, and the best at steep tracks. Only 9 laps led at Darlington, which is not great, but 375 at intermediates and 904 at steep tracks, although, to be fair, Dover and Bristol are steep tracks, and that dude, dominates those races, so, want to throw that out there. Last 5 races, only the 9th best average finish, but it has the best average position and 83 laps led. Definitely can get up inside the top 3. Wouldn't call him a top end play on the slate, but I do like him. Definitely someone I'm going to have some sort of exposure to this weekend. Brandon Jones is $10,400. He starts 22nd. He's going to need a top 7 to pay off this salary. He's the 4th best average finish at Darlington, the 11th at intermediates, and the 6th at steep tracks. When you look at average position, it's 7th at Darlington, 7th at intermediates, and 5th at steep tracks. I don't know if I said he needs a top 7 to pay off this salary. He did actually win one of the Darlington races last year, although he shouldn't. He should have finished 3rd. But, Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin to wreck each other with 2 laps to go, and Brandon Jones just passed him and won. Things happen. But 2 laps led at Darlington. Those were his only 2 laps led. 220 intermediates and 212 at steep tracks. He's been running pretty solid recently, aside from the wrecks. I don't really include when a driver wrecks in these stats because I think that's misleading. So 2nd best average finish. He does have, I think, 1 or 2 races where he wrecked out. And the 5th best average position, 52 laps led as well. So Brandon Jones, definitely someone I'm interested in. Could, for sure, get a top 7, which is all he needs to do to pay off his salary. He can get out front, too. Probably he's less likely to get out front versus some other guys we'll get to the guys who are more than likely to lead this race. But Brandon Jones still has that potential. AJ Allmendinger, he's going to need to lead laps from the pole to pay off the salary, but I'm fine with that. Best average finish at intermediates and 3rd at steep tracks. 5th best average position at intermediates and 4th at steep tracks. We haven't seen him race at Darlington in this car, so I don't have any data to go off of him from that. But 7th best average finish in the last 5 races, 13th best average position, and 89 laps led. Definitely gonna get out to the front early. The favorite coming into this race, shocker, is Austin Cendrick. Starts 2nd, $9,900. He's gonna need to lead laps to pay off the salary. But Cendrick hasn't been great here. This is just not a track that Austin Cendrick's run well at. 11th best average finish at Darlington. And only the 9th best average position. So it's not like he just finished, lower than you think, or lower than he was running. He did a little bit, but not by enough to really make a difference here. And honestly, intermediates and steep tracks just aren't haven't been his best suit, but he's been good enough. Still has 780 laps led at intermediates, 352 at steep tracks. He's been running great this year. 4th best average finish in the last 5 races, 2nd best average position, and 231 laps led, which is the most in the field. But, I mean, it's an interesting fate. He's going to be popular. He is going to be very popular, I promise you that. And, I mean, like, no one's going to be shocked if all of a sudden Austin Cendrick's out front and leading laps in this race, like, at all. But, got to be a little bit wary, a little bit cautious here, because there is, some potential for him to just not be good. So, it does scare me a little bit, but, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm probably, honestly, might end up fading him because I love getting off popular drivers, and there's definitely ways that, like, I don't think he's the most likely dominator in this race. The guy who I think is Gragson. I think Gragson probably is the fastest car in this track. Best average finish at Darlington, 5th best at intermediate, 2nd at steep tracks, best average position at Darlington as well, 3rd at intermediates and 2nd at steep tracks, 46 laps led at Darlington, 478 at intermediates, and 339 at steep tracks. In the last 5 races, he has the 3rd best average finish, 7th best average position, and 46 laps led. Honestly, it's just about time this guy wins a race this year. I think this is where he does it, to be honest. I mean, he needs to lead laps to pay off the salary, but, I mean, he's just, out of all the top drivers, like, in a series that, we've seen lead laps this year, like, honestly, the guys we've seen lead laps this year, like, I mean, you can just see it. You can see it by the numbers. Cendrick, Allmendinger, Hamrick, Gragson, Allgaier. Those are your main 5 lap leaders this year. Harrison Burton, maybe, but he's really kind of been a letdown. Josh Berry had 1 race. I don't really count that. Those have been your lap leaders this year. And none of them really are great here. Like, none of them. Like, none of them have ever shown in the past that they've been good at Darlington. So, Gragson has, so that's probably my guy. That's going to be my guy that I think leads the most laps here. That's my pick for main dominator. I think other guys can, but Bragg's going to be my number 1 pick. Daniel Hamrick's up next, another guy who really just hasn't run well here. 12th best average finish at Darlington, 12th best average position. But 309 laps led at intermediates and 191 laps led at fast laps at intermediates. So in the last 5 races, 9th best average finish, 4th best average position, and 146 laps led. Hamrick's led laps this year. This is another guy I think it's about time for him to get a win, but I don't really think it comes here. I'm definitely going to play some Hamrick because, like, I don't think Noah Gragson is for sure, like, guaranteed to be a lap leader in this race, but I also don't think he, is probably going to be the only one. So I think Daniel Hamrick could definitely get up front, wouldn't surprise me. I don't hate him. He's not going to be on the dominator tier as, Gragson, Cendrick, Allmendinger, but I don't hate Hamrick at all. Definitely going to be someone I get exposure to. Harrison Burton's an interesting one, too, that we have to talk about that we'll get there in a minute because I think he has upside as well here. We'll get there when we get to his salary. Michael Nett's up next, starting 20th, $9,300. He needs a top 9 to pay off that salary. Yeah, I mean, that could happen, but you're probably going for a ceiling here. 8th best average finish at Darlington, 8th at intermediates, and 13th at steep tracks. 4th best average position at Darlington, though, is pretty impressive. In the last 5 races, the 11th best average finish and 9th best average position. I mean, he's fine. I just feel like you're paying for a ceiling at this point. I don't really like doing that, so unless it's like Kyle Busch in the Truck Series, but I don't know. That's just not probably where I'm going to go. Josh Berry needs a top 10. 3rd best average finish at intermediates, 5th at steep tracks. Last 5 races for him, 5th best average finish, 16th best average position. So that's a little bit alarming, but still, I mean, top 10's definitely in his reach. They kind of, and that and Berry are really similar plays here to me. If you want to go to the event, I think they're fine. I don't think you need to. Ryan Sieg's probably going to be someone I'm completely off of. He needs a top 5 to pay off the salary. However, he does have good numbers at Darlington, 3rd best average finish, 6th best average position, but this year for Sieg has been awful. 17th best average finish in the last 5 races, 18th best average position. I just don't see Ryan Sieg getting a top 5. He just hasn't shown really any speed this year, so I'm going to be off that. Justin Haley needs a top 2 to lead laps in this race to pay off the salary, starting 4th at $8,700. I don't see it. That's just not going to be a spot I go to. 6th best average finish at Darlington, 6th at intermediates, 8th at steep tracks, 4th best average position at Darlington. Only 7 laps led here, 28 at intermediates and 8th at steep tracks. We just know he's not really a lap leader. He should run well, but a top 2, you're kind of, I mean, I don't know. That's what his ceiling is. Like, we've never seen Justin Haley win on a non-play track, and it could change, but I just don't see it. So Justin Haley is going to be someone I'm off of this week. Harrison Burton. Burton is just, why is he $8,500? I don't understand this. We're getting Harrison Burton without needing him to lead laps, and he could actually lead laps. Like, he's one of the 5 or 6 guys most likely to lead laps in this race. Like, Harrison Burton is too cheap. He needs a top 4 to pay off his salary, and he's been very, very good numbers-wise. 2nd best at Darlington, 2nd at intermediates, best at steep tracks, average position, great across the board as well. No laps led at Darlington's not great, and only 107 at intermediates and 84 at steep tracks. It's the same old Harrison Burton. This is the same thing we've seen from him, now for a year and a half. He's going to run well, but he's not going to get up front too often. And, I mean, when he does, it's great, but he's not going to get up front too often. But you don't need him to do that this week. You only need him to get a top 4, and I think he should probably do that as long as he stays out of trouble. 8th best average finish last 5 races, 6th best average position has been great, led 53 laps, but you're paying for someone who really Needs a top 4, even a top 5 will be good enough. It probably won't take down tournament, but if he gets to a top 5, he's going to do good enough for you to cash for sure, like definitely. And he also has lap load upside. I mean, I just don't understand his pricing. That's going to be a spot that I just want to attack for sure this week. Definitely going to be all over that. Riley Herbst is $8,400. He starts 6th. Need a top 4 from Riley Herbst. I'm never paying for a top 4 from Riley Herbst. Just not ever going to do that. 16th best average finish, last 5 races, 17th best average position. We'll move on. Brett Moffatt, $8,200, starting 13th. He's going to need a top 8. I just feel like you're paying for a ceiling at that point. None of his numbers suggest that he's really going to get that. 12th best average finish, 12th best average position, last 5. I mean, he's fine, but I feel like you're paying for a ceiling, so probably not all that interested. Brandon Godovic starts 27th. He's going to need a top 15. His one race was not great. But that car is decent enough to get a top 15 if he can wheel it there. So we'll see. That's probably not a spot I'm going to be too interested in, but I understand it. A tournament play that we'll see. Come tune into the live stream. We'll see how I really feel about it at that point. Not too high on Godovic right now, but I could see how it works out. But not going to be a favorite spot for me. Jeb Burton starts 3rd. Needs to hold that spot. I mean, that could happen. Like, it could happen. But only the 14th best average finish in the last 5 races, 10th best average position. Feels unlikely, but we see Burton have good runs this year, so just starts a little too high. If he was starting like 6th, I think it'd be a little bit of a different story, but 3rd, it's just a little bit too high for me. JJ Yaley, I just want to note before I talk about him, on DraftKings, it doesn't have his starting spot next to him, so I'm wondering if there's a possibility he doesn't race. So I don't know. We don't know yet. Haven't heard anything. So if he's out of that 17 car, well, we'll figure out. We'll talk about on the live stream who his replacement is. I'd assume it'd probably be Cody Ware or Joey Gase, but for now it's JJ Yaley. So, so we're gonna talk about Yaley, assuming he's gonna be in the race. I just noticed it was weird that DraftKings didn't have a number next to him, and when that happens, it's usually because they're just not racing. So, they put him on, and then he's not in. But I don't really. Maybe they'll change it. Maybe they've changed it since I last looked, but that's what I noticed. Just had to point that out. Starting 35th, he needs a top 19 to pay off that salary, and I like that. I like playing JJ Yaley a lot when he's in the 17 car. 17th best average finish at intermediates and 14th at steep tracks. In the last 5 races, 19th best average finish, 19th best average position. You need a top 19 to pay off the salary. I like that. I'm going to play JJ Yaley if he's in that 17. If it's somebody else, we'll see. Probably not. Depends what their pricing is, obviously. So tune into the live stream. We can talk about that if it's not JJ Yaley. I think it's going to be Yaley, though, because I haven't seen anything why it wouldn't be. So I don't know why it wouldn't be at this point. Mike Snyder, $7,500, starting 10th. He's cheap, man. Mike Snyder's, that's really cheap for him. He needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. Yeah, his numbers aren't great, but a lot of those numbers were not in this car last year. They're in that 93 car. 13th best average finish in the last 5 races, 10th best average position. Not saying it's a lock that he's going to get you a top 8, but, when you look down here at all these guys that are super cheap, Jeb Burton, he has good odds too, but, he starts 3rd. The rest of these guys are just not even close to Mike Snyder level in the series at this point, so I'm completely fine going there. That's going to be someone I'm probably going to have a good bit of exposure to. BJ Mcleod, $7,400, starting 38th, needs a top 21. Yeah, I don't think I want to go there. I think it's his first start in the Xfinity Series this year. I could be wrong. It might be a second, but top 21 for BJ Mcleod. I mean, yeah, it could happen, but don't feel comfortable about that one, so I'm probably not going to be too interested in that. Jeremy Clements needs a top 10. Jeremy Clements could get a top 10 if there's wrecks. So that's how Jeremy Clements does well. 15th best average finish in the last 5 races, 15th best average position. He'll probably hang around 12th to 15th all day. A few cars get knocked out, which is Darlington. That can happen. Darlington's a place where there tends to be more wrecks than normal. And especially in the Xfinity Series. Yeah, Clements going to have in the top 10. So going to probably be slightly interested in tournaments. It's going to be a very, very low-owned play for me in tournaments, but might get a few lineups. Alex LeBay is $7,100, starting 23rd. He needs a top 15 to pay off his salary. 10th best average finish at Darlington, which is pretty good, but I'm not really too interested in that. Last 5 races have not been good for LeBay. 28th best average finish, 22nd best average position. Probably not going to go there. Brandon Brown, $6,900. He starts 9th, and he just needs to hold his position. He's finished top 9. I'm definitely okay with that. He has had a rougher start to the year, but he's been kind of up and down. We've seen some really good runs, seen some runs from him. 17th best average finish, 14th best average position. Brandon Brown's capable of these top 9 runs. In fact, he has 9th best average finish at this track in the field right now, so I'm completely fine going there. It's going to be, this is kind of similar. I don't think this is similar to the Snyder play, because Snyder has more upside. Brown doesn't really have the upside to get a top 5 unless there's a late race restart, which is what happened at Phoenix and he got 3rd. But, if it's just a normal race, Brandon Brown doesn't really have that top 5 upside like Mike Snyder does. It's more of a Clements play. If things happen and it works, it could work out. So I'm okay with it, but, not going to be a core play here, probably a lower owned tournament play. Landon Castle starts 19th, needs a top 14. I don't see it. 22nd best average finish in the last 5 races, 24th best average position. Just don't see it. Colby Howard, $6,600. He's going to need a top 17. 22nd best average finish, 21st best average position for Colby Howard. Yeah, I don't feel good about this one. Ryan Vargas actually isn't as expensive as he usually is. Like $6,400 starting 34th. I think DraftKings finally realizes that he's like just trash. 20th best average finish at Darlington, but intermediates and steep tracks not good. Not been running well this year. 34th best average position, 34th best average finish last 5, 34th best average position. Vargas sucks, man. I'm just gonna keep fading. I'm gonna keep doing it until something changes that proves me wrong here, but I don't see that happening. Tanner Berryhill is driving a 23 car for Our Motorsports this week. He's a top 23. Blaine Perkins sucked in that car. Blaine Perkins sucks, though. But Tanner Berryhill, I don't really know anything about Tanner Berryhill. Are we really sure he's that much better? This bottom range sucks. There's a few plays I really like down here, and then the rest are just trash. I mean, they just are trash, man. I really don't want to play Tanner Berryhill. I'm probably going to fade. Jeffrey Earnhardt, top 20. He never does that. That's not him. I continue to not want to play Jeffrey Earnhardt unless it's a plate race. 25th best average finish, 24th best average position this year. Matt Jaskell, he needs too much. I remember going top 26. Yeah, no shot I'm playing that. 35th best average finish, 36th best average position. I know it was only one race, but he finished in the 30s. No shot I'm playing that. Joe Graff, $5,900. He needs a top 21. This one's kind of interesting. I'm okay with Joe Graff. Look, I know his numbers aren't good, but Joe Graff, that car has mechanical issues all the time, and he wrecks out all the time. But when he doesn't, he usually, finds himself inside the top 25. So the potential's there. It's a tournament play that is kind of a dart throw. Don't really want to go there, but that's fine. This is the one play I love in this range. Is Bailey Curry's too cheap. Bailey Curry's a better driver than he gets credit for. When he gets a good ride, he does well in it. Now, I'm not saying it's a good ride, but we've seen him have some good runs this year. 25th best average finish in the last 5 races, 23rd best average position. Only needs a top 26. He can get you a top 20, and if there's a late restart, I can see him getting you a top 10. So Bailey Curry is the one guy in this range that I really like. He's going to be I'm going to have so much Bailey Curry. That's going to be the one guy I'm going to focus on in this 6K and down, 7K and down range. I think he's a great play. This is going to be a spot I really want to get all over. Tommy Joe Martins starts 14th, needs to finish 14th. Yeah, it could happen, but again, very unlikely. 20th best average finish in the last 5 races, 20th best average position. I don't really see it working out. He is fine if you want to get there, though. Josh Williams starts 21st. Josh Williams needs a top 18. This one could happen, too. I don't hate this one that much. 13th best average finish at Darlington, 19th at intermediates, and then you go look at average position. It's 19th at intermediates and steep tracks for average position. Last 5 races haven't been great for him. He hasn't been great this year. This has definitely not been, we usually see Josh Williams as a top 20 driver. It hasn't been the case this year. 22nd best average finish, 26th best average position. He's a tournament play only. Much prefer Curry, but Williams could get the job done. Greg Gallon needs a top 25. That car is not capable of that unless there's a million wrecks, so I'm going to fade that. Matt Mills needs a top 23. Yeah, I'm going to keep going away from this one as well. Look at these numbers, man. All these guys are trash. Jesse Little, same thing. He's been bad this year, man. That car sucks. It's not his fault. I like Jesse Little. I think he's a decent driver, but car sucks. He's a top 23. Going to be off that. Ryan Ellis, $5,000, starting 33rd. He hasn't even raced this year, so that's great. Top 25 for him. Don't see it. David Starr starts 17th, needs to finish 17th. I don't see it. Timmy Hill's interesting. Timmy Hill needs a top 17, and he actually has been decent enough this year where that could actually happen. Last 5 races, yeah, numbers aren't great. They're not great, but he's had some runs where it works out. Kyle Weatherman, and here's the thing. One of these guys is going to work out down here. I think Curry's probably most likely one, but there could be 2 of them, and they're all trash, man. They all don't look good. You're just kind of saying, could he work out? Kyle Weatherman, could he work out? Yeah, if that car doesn't break down, which it could. We've seen it happen multiple times. Kyle Weatherman could work out. Top 22 is possible. Jade Buford, just again, not good. Top 19 to pay off the salary, not going to really want to go there. So you're kind of just down here at this point. All these guys kind of suck. They're all going to get sponsorships. They're all trash. Really like Bailey Curry. I think Joe Graff could work out. I think Josh Williams could work out. I think Tommy Joe Martins could work out. I could see Timmy Hill working out, possibly Kyle Weatherman. But the rest of these guys, the BJ Mcleod cars, no, I don't see it. The Jimmy Means cars, no shot. Tanner Berryhill, possibly. Vargas, no. Earnhardt, no. Jaskell, no. Colby Howard, maybe. Landon Castle, probably not. Like, it's just, you're kind of just, I mean, it's going to be tough to get off Bailey Curry. And I'm sure he's going to get a ton of ownership this week. I don't really care. This is the guy that I'm focusing on this week. I'm going to just, plant my flag there. It's Bailey Curry. That's my favorite guy down here. But yeah, that's really all I got to say. Be sure to tune to that live stream. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when I am going live. That's really all I got to say. Have a great rest of your day. Yeah.